What's up, family? Welcome back to another episode of the Sit Down Talk. My name is Kier.
And I'm Noemie.
And we welcome you. Clap it up for yourselves today. If you clicked on the title of this video, you already know what we're talking about today. So we're going to jump into that in just a second. Don't do that. If this is your first time here for our Sit Down Talks, we welcome you. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hope that you come back and see some more of these. They're dope. And if you are a returning citizen, not returning citizen, those are people that just come back from jail.
Returning citizen.
Sorry. If you're a repeat offender, you've been here before, thank you. Thank
offender.
you. Yeah, man, thank you. We really appreciate the love and the support that we get from y'all.
Y'all a family.
For real. Also, man, my camera does some weird stuff with focusing, so we might fall out of focus. Just try to ignore that. So, just like all of you all, we saw Will and Jada's Red Table Talk. I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. Like, we went back and forth trying to decide on whether or not this is something we wanted to talk about, because A, that's not really our lane to kind of go into other people's marital issues or lack thereof. And B, this ain't none of our damn business.
It's not.
Yeah, like we really good at minding our businesses, and this falls outside of the line of that. So there's some discomfort there. When we talked about this, we came to realize that we are relationship vloggers, and we vlog about marriage, and we vlog about love. And we do feel like we have an obligation to kind of unpack some of the more complicated things that fall within that domain.
And just to kind of go on that point, I think one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to talk about it is because there are things about what we've heard from the video that we disagree on.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
And I just feel like I don't necessarily have an opinion on what people do in their marriage, but I definitely think just like you guys come in and sit in on our couples counseling, sessions and try to look at our perspective on things. Because it is couples counseling. And people are here to see what we're going through. People ask us, how do y'all go through this? How do you go through that? And I think the situation that happened prompted a lot of questions. Okay, well, what if?
Yeah.
Then what? If something does happen, how we gonna handle it?
So the issue with this episode is going to be the fact that there's a lot to unpack here. I think we need to compartmentalize it into what we want to talk about on this. We just shooting raw.
Yeah.
We didn't work this out before we got on camera. We just finished watching the video.
Yep.
I think that you and I do a good job of kind of talking through our feelings when it comes to stuff like this. But I think we need to set some ground rules just to keep everything safe.
Cool.
I think one thing we need to try to stay away from is judgment statements, what they should be doing, or making a judgment on their characters based on the decision that they made. I think that we both need to keep in mind that those are people. I think because folks share their lives on social media, because folks are rich or because folks are famous, somehow we forget that their personal lives are now exposed to everybody in the world, and those people make judgments, and it does negatively affect those people. So remember that those married folk are people, are real people in real life. And I think the third thing that we need to focus on is our personal experience, because it'll be very easy to speak for all the people that we represent. It'll be easy for me to speak for men. It'll be easy for you to speak for women, but we're just two people. We don't represent all of y'all out there. And I think social media does too much of that. And we do a good job of staying away from that, but I think those are good ground rules to set just to make sure this stays an adult conversation. I mean, it's us. It won't not, but it's... I'm not saying.
No, that's good. Listen, you therapist. I'm just
don't shortchange yourself, because you're very brilliant when it comes to things like this. I'm not saying it because I don't think we know it. I'm saying it because I think it needs to be said.
Okay.
So. Sounds
good.
Yeah. Let me get something to drink. Hold up.
This ain't even liquor, y'all. This is actually.
Need that.
Well, then maybe you should pour a little bit in my cup.
I got you.
Because we might need it.
It's strong. It's really strong. It's good.
I feel like if we ever did get to a place where we had significant issues in our marriage, we would want that to be private until we figured it out.
Right.
They didn't necessarily have that. So not only are they being judged by all of us on a public scale, this is a very real thing that happens in marriage.
And it's happening in real time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And people, I love you, but I'm not always gonna love the things that I'm not always going to be happy in this relationship. Like there's just so many things about love and relationships and marriage that fall outside of the box.
Just a disclaimer, I don't watch Red Table Talk. I have seen a few of the episodes from when you were watching them.
Yeah.
And we're watching in bed together. I'm never going to remember the name of this couple. It's an older couple. They were married for a multitude of years, I think 50 some odd years. And at that point in time, Will and Jada had been married for double digit years. And they asked the older couple, it's like, hey, it's like we're going through these things in our marriage. Like, what's y'all secret? How did y'all stay married for so long? And the super older couple who's been married for an eon was like, well, how long y'all been married? And at the time, I think they said 18 years. And the woman replied like, oh, y'all don't even know each other yet. And that scared me to death. We just had a conversation in the bathroom the other day where we realized we're not the same people that we married. At all. And it wasn't a negative conversation, but it definitely wasn't a comfortable conversation to have. If you just expand our little bit of time over multiple years,
our little 9 measly months,
over multiple years, there's a lot that can happen.
Yeah, that's nothing in comparison to what 25 years.
That puts the reverse on the judgment train for me.
Yeah.
We come on to sit down talking. We share a lot of really vulnerable information with you all, but there are parts of our marriage that we're not willing to share. And I'll tell you why. I have a belief that if you decide to be a vlogger or a TV personality or whatever, if you decide to put parts of your personal life out there on the internet and to the world for everybody to consume, you no longer have domain over what people say, how they say it, or what, or how they
spin it, whatever.
None of that. You sign that waiver when you do that. I don't think it's right for people to be able to do that, but I understand. It is what it is. I still have her I got a real job, y'all. She got a real job. My manager probably watches this. My director probably watches this. We have to be careful about that because people will come up to us in real life and start talking about personal issues. And if we don't really talk out what we talked about and people start inserting and projecting their own shit into what we got going on, it causes issues with us.
Absolutely.
So to the couples that share their lives on the internet, I applaud you because it's very difficult to do that and still have peace of mind.
And still have peace.
And still have
marriage.
Man,
peace.
For real.
Period.
The vlog life can stress a marriage out.
Yeah.
The entertainment life can stress a marriage out. It definitely can.
You don't believe that people deciding to separate temporarily while they figure out whether or not they still want to be in the marriage is something that you can do?
I hate saying this because I'm speaking from my current mind right now. I would hate to look back. If we were to get separated in 10 years and I look back and I'm like, nah, you can't do that because of I'm going to feel like a jackass.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Then say that.
I don't know.
I'm speaking off of my parents being separated for 5 years and me living in the house.
Yeah, you got the different experience.
The way that I see this and view this is completely different. Completely, because I lived it as the child. And it wasn't like my parents were separated and my dad moved elsewhere. They were separated. We all lived together in the same house.
So do you agree?
For a long time.
Do you agree that physical separation and emotional separation, you can't really have one without the other?
I don't even look at it that black and white. I look at it more about the reason behind why you need the separation. Sometimes people need separation because they've gotten to a point where I just don't like you. I don't see the benefit of this marriage. I'm not happy with myself. I'm not happy with who I've become. And I need to step away to see if this is what I still need to do. And sometimes people need to go off. And I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm saying that as a child of parents who before their divorce were truly separated, and I know a lot of couples in my family that have been separated, I know people that have had to step out, and I don't consider it stepping out because the agreement is that we're separated. I've seen people do what they gotta do, realize that the grass is greener on the other side and leave, and I've seen couples come back together stronger than they've ever been because of that separation.
I've seen both too.
And I feel like because of what I saw with my parents, I will never I will never judge or have an opinion on why people separate and whether or not they get back together. Because there were periods of time where I know that everyone in my family thought that my parents would get back together.
You said you thought that?
I thought,
right?
I thought they would.
When did you stop thinking that your parents?
It's on and off. It's just like,
you still be feeling that sometimes.
Not now, not now. But I think like back then, like sometimes they had really good moments, and it looks like they would be back together. But just because you have a good moment doesn't mean you want to get back together. It's just I don't hate you today.
I guess the inverse is just because you have a bad moment doesn't mean that you want to stay separated forever.
Exactly.
It's
so
just
I just
hard
like
to
you
jump
can't.
in the frame of mind, man.
I don't think you can unless
complicated.
I don't think you can unless you see it and experience it. So like I do feel like my parents love each other, and even my other, like I'm telling you, everybody in my family been separated. Like this is my family, we not new to this. Like we're not new to this. It's just like a clarifying, like, hey, y'all still separated? I have people that have gotten divorced.
And people who have been separated for like how long?
I'm not done. I have people that have gotten divorced and then got back together and never got remarried. Like my family is wild.
Okay.
That's why I'm just like this.
Trying to control my face. That's wild as shit.
Yeah. People that got divorced way too quick. You know what I mean? Like they was like, F it, I don't want to do this anymore. And then while they're talking through the divorce and separating finances, separating property, you know, dealing with kids, they get to a point where like,
yo,
I don't know if I want to do this anymore. And it could be because of money, it because the love is still there.
That's
it could
scary,
be because of
man.
anything. And that's why I'm like, look, I'll never say we will never get a divorce. We will never get separated.
We've never said that, by the way.
And I will never say that.
We've never said
and it's
that.
not because like I vowed to him that I'm going to try and I'm going to do everything possible. But there are two people in this relationship. Like I could want this and he could not, and vice versa. So he's forced to be in this situation. I know a lot of people have different ideas about marriage, but like I said, I've lived in a house where it was great. And then it wasn't so great. And then it was okay. And then it was worse. You know what I mean? So it's just like, look, like the same thing that I would tell my parents. Because one thing that my parents did do is they sat me down and they let me know when they separated. They let me know what it meant. And they let me know what it was going to look like. And they let me know that like if I ever felt uncomfortable, if I ever wanted to talk to them about something, I could. And I did. I was very vocal about my confusion because the moments where they were good, it was like, okay, so we back. And they're like, no, we're not.
Yeah.
We're not.
Man,
like, we love each other.
Like
you know,
before,
like my parents love each other as people.
They still do.
They were married for 20 plus years. Just today, nothing is set in stone. This is just a temperature
With my
check.
9 months of married knowledge.
With your 9 months of married knowledge. What do you feel about separation? Is it something that's justifiable? Is it something that's understandable? And does that actually mean you are single for this moment of time while you're trying to figure it out?
The way that our relationship is built and oriented, if we're separated, we're probably not getting back together.
I can't say that.
I know, but I'm just speaking from my 9 months of marriage experience.
From your perspective.
From my perspective.
If we get separated, there's little to no chance that we'll get back
together. I would say that there's a very small likelihood that we'll get back together. The lack of tolerance that we have for that level of transgression, you know, all the things that we have riding on our relationship in the way that no matter how uncomfortable it is, no matter how like naked you feel when you do it, we always try to wipe the issues off the table before they pile up. I think that if it was going to get to a point where we felt like we had so many irreconcilable differences that the only way for us to be alright was for us to separate. For us to actually separate, it would take so much that I would think whatever we need to put us back together would be too large of a hurdle. Us separating isn't separating to see if it'll work. We've already done that work by that time. If we separate it, it's because that's just the legal process before divorce.
Because we tried it and it didn't work, and that's it.
Let's take a temperature check. I want to see where y'all are right now. I want you to tell me what you feel about separation. Do you feel like separation is a necessary term in order for people who are having marital issues to get back together, or do you feel like separation is just like a formality before y'all are done for real? That was really wordy. I hope y'all follow that. But tell us below where you at with it. I know we got a lot of subscribers that really uphold the sanctity of marriage. Like y'all are really
damn fly.
Yeah, I'm gonna get his ass. I'm gonna fix his wagon. Somebody posted on my Facebook, they said men have so much ego that they don't think it's plausible that a woman would cheat. And I think there's a good point. I think there's a good point with that.
Everybody cheats.
I was single in DC for a long time. Women cheat. Cheat. All them girls had boyfriends.
Why are you messing with them then?
It's none of my business. I didn't ask the question, so I never got the definitive answer.
So
like how chicks fake find out that the dude was married 7 months into the relationship.
Wow, I just feel like.
It's like some. I'm not saying that some of those women have been bamboozled by dudes that are lying, but there's also a group of people out there who are just like, I don't want to know. If I don't ask the questions, I won't hear the truth.
I don't know. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. It's just so outside of what my circle discusses with me. I don't know their lives either. Like, I don't know. I legit. Things like we have like a secret society of like ladies, this stays over here. And if it comes out, you don't know nothing, you ain't heard nothing. Like, we have like a code.
It's just funny because I see women, like, they'll be like, I don't understand what's so hard about the terms of this relationship. And then you see their friendships and you like, imagine, you see how awful she is? Like that friend that don't accept responsibility for nothing, who does whatever she wants to do and she never listens to any advice. She always gets burnt and then she comes back to you like you didn't just tell her the right way to go. And she always finds a way to somehow rub you the wrong way or burn her bridges. She never apologizes. She always just jumps right back and inserts herself back into the friendship. We deal with those women too. It's just funny that when that gets brought to the table, it's like, those women don't exist. And it's like, you're friends with them. Like, she's pissed you off on a ride here. Like, what are you talking about? It's the secret society that blows my mind. Y'all are geniuses, man. Y'all keep that thing packed in tight. It's very difficult to find somebody that you vibrate with on all these different levels. We fit in a lot of different ways, but we are incompatible in more ways than y'all could ever imagine.
Oh, we've always butt heads throughout our relationship, but like,
it's our favorite activity.
Yeah, but we're both very emotionally, not aware, but emotionally inquisitive about our own like emotions. Like I'm not emotionally aware, but I'm always seeking to understand myself. Like, and I don't always get the mark, but I'm always trying. And I feel like you're the same way in that sense. And because of that, we can communicate in a way that makes sense to both of us.
Yeah.
But like, how to talk to each other on a day-to-day, we still haven't figured that out. We still haven't figured it out. But that's where the communication piece comes in.
Yeah, but I mean, the communication saving grace, but I'm so tired of married couples sitting in front of screens and talking about communication. And like, what does that mean? What does communication look like when we're both unhappy and we don't want to negotiate no more?
What does it look like?
I think when people talk about you gotta talk, people talk about things that are comfortable.
Talking and communicating. And like, communication is a process. It's the talking, it's the active listening, it's the reflecting.
You on a milli. So let me ask you a question. This is a hot ticket item with a lot of my homies. I don't know how you tell the person who you're in a long-term monogamous relationship with that you're no longer attracted to them, right? Men age. I'm going to eventually lose all my hair. I'm going to eventually lose a lot of my muscle mass. I'm going to get more wrinkles. My teeth may fall out. I won't always look like this. That'll worse, baby.
Listen,
I'm a 34-year-old really healthy man. I won't be this way for the rest of my life. But that's the thing. But like, women, like, if you have 1 kid, 2 kids, 3, you're going to gain weight. You're going to be bigger, and that's an issue that I see argued about on social media. Like, if you're a man and you're no longer attracted to the way that your wife looks, regardless of it, of course, she had 1, 2, 3 kids, she's going to gain weight, you know that. But that doesn't mean that you're attracted to that image. And that, because you're not attracted to that image, doesn't mean that you don't still love her or value her. That's just one small part of a very big puzzle that comprises the love that y'all got for one another.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Is it possible that that's not a small part of the love? Could it be possible that physical attraction was actually a huge contributing factor to why you got married?
That's a good point. I don't mean small in that way.
Oh, okay.
I just mean it's one of many.
Oh, okay.
It's not just that it's not just that one little molecule that spells the love between y'all. It's a million of those molecules, and that's just one. Does that make sense?
So, question then: what do you say to those men who feel those? Or what are you asking me? Are you asking me?
You don't say nothing. There's no way to approach that situation that won't offend somebody terribly.
I'm already offended.
And we ain't even implied nothing.
It's just tough.
And that is what I mean. So when we talk about having conversations, they posted that on Twitter. A man said, I'm no longer attracted to my wife. We try to run, we try to do these exercises, but she gained weight and I'm no longer attracted to her. He didn't say he didn't love her. He didn't say he didn't want to be with her. And social media killed that man.
But you want to know why? He also didn't say, despite that, I still love her. Despite that, I still want to be with her. But I'm just struggling with that. So the assumption is you're saying it because you want it out.
It goes both ways.
And
That's fair.
I genuinely feel like with I'm not going to generalize with men, but like with weight and like things that are like typically
the taboo
kind of subjects, you have to buffer. Like will you always want to? No. You know what I mean?
Will it always work? No. Yeah.
But you can't not do it.
Nah, you can't just jump into that conversation.
Right. You have to be like, it has to be on some shit like, babe, like, you know, I love you and I really, oh God. No.
We talk about this all the time.
Never mind.
It won't work. So now you're with a
ever.
person that you have a fundamental issue with. See,
that's the thing. Is it a fundamental issue? That's
it
why
depends
I
on the person. Let's say, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to overtalk you.
Okay.
Let's say in this situation, it is a fundamental issue, just for the sake of this, because in my conversations, it typically is. So let's say it is a fundamental issue. You have a fundamental issue with this person that impacts the overall quality of your relationship, and you can't even talk to them about it. Where does that go?
So I think that's tough. I don't know where it goes. I don't know where it goes, but I know I have an idea of what you can do in the beginning. I feel like those are the conversations you gotta have in the beginning. You know what I mean? Like I'm just, but this is what I'm saying. It is not, let me talk.
No, I feel you. It's like, ugh.
It is not an unfounded conception that some women gain a lot of weight after they have children, after they get married, they don't have enough time. For a man to enter a relationship thinking that will never happen, and like that never crosses their mind, like that is like, sir, like I feel you. It's a really difficult situation to think about, but you're telling me in the 15 years y'all been married, you never thought that would happen and you never considered? And like maybe that needs to be a conversation that needs to be had in marital counseling.
Yeah.
It's like, what if,
good point.
You know, like, and let's say, what if like I didn't gain weight because of kids, I gained weight because now I have a hormonal disorder where my body, I can't control my weight. There's nothing, we can run for miles and there's nothing I can do. I don't know that it's fair to bring, like, think about why you're bringing it to your wife. Like, are you bringing it because you feel like she's not doing enough? Are you bringing it because you just want her to know that she don't like, that she don't, like, you just want her to know that you don't like the way she looks?
Before you even go on, I completely agree with you. And that's what makes it.
My baby. Did you have a good night?
I completely agree with you. Look, y'all, we can pretty much talk about this forever, but our notification just came in and said that it's time to wrap up this sit-down talk. Thank y'all for boss, supervisor,
what's wrong?
Dictator, the whole nine. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. This ain't usually what we do, but I am curious to know whether or not you enjoyed this video. So if you did like it, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you disliked it, go ahead and mind your business and go on to some other video. Also, make sure that you hit the notification button so that you can know of all of our posts as soon as they post. And make sure that you hit the subscribe button. If you watch our videos every week and you ain't subscribed,
shame on you.
Shame. You're a disgusting person.
Oh, don't. That's hard.
Be well. See you next Sunday.